So up on Daybreak, up in the top right as the blue Terran, it is DeathRoW. And down in the bottom left as the red Zerg, it is MarTi. You have to say his clan name every time because that's just fantastic. Oh! I don't know what team Ataraxia is. Apparently, DeathRoW's on a team. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see if we have any craziness from either of these players. MarTi did favour going for the more macro-focused play, like to do those two base roaches. We'll see if he does the same thing this time. DeathRoW going for the standard, looking like it's going to be a Reaper opening, although I said that every game for the last series and none of those times was there a Reaper. I think DeathRoW may be a more standard player than we've just seen though, so we'll see. Pull going down for MarTi. And straight into the hatchery, so that is the timing that we've seen him do before. So possibly going for those roaches once again. And DeathRoW is going for the Reaper expand by the looks of it, and this Overlord is going to scout it. We'll see that SCV collecting minerals down there. Does get the wall off. There is nothing on the way though, so this Overlord is running away, probably a little bit scared that a Marine is about to pop out of that barracks, but it is not. Hopefully it sees that Reaper go by, and it does not. Reaper slips on by. Mayno could guess at it, but really there are 4 lings here on the way now, so this is exactly what we've seen MarTi do before. They just missed each other again. The Reaper might have seen them. Not going to react though. The Reaper is going to head in and the lings are going to carry along their way across the map. So Reaper's going to get in here, see this hatchery. There is a queen coming down. There are workers transferring. Might be able to get a couple of kills here. The hatchery is only just completed. Take some hits from the queen. There is no queen at the main though. Could get a few worker kills if they scouted that, but they did not. The lings are now at natural. There is a second Reaper that it might go down. Needs to get up onto the high ground. Not targeting the lings either. Oh, there we go. Up on the high ground now. Should be able to take out one of those lings. Shouldn't have any trouble with the others. 2 of them go down. Gonna hunt down the third. And the natural, I don't think, was delayed. So that was a very, very good for DeathRoW there. Using that second Reaper as defense. Although this Reaper really needed to head into the main and get some workers. It had 3 kills there. There was no queen at the main hatchery. But now there is a queen at both, and there's also a third starting to spread creep, and the roach warren is going down, so MarTi is doing the same thing as before. Now, is it just me, or does that spawning pool seem to be wiggling an awful lot for something that is not upgrading? Does it normally wiggle that much when it's not getting speed? I don't know. Seems a bit weird. But anyway, Roach Warren is about to finish. 2 Reapers heading in now. 2 Reapers against a Queen. Never really a great idea. But they are going to head into the main. A nice scout there. Sees the Roach Warren. Knows what's coming. Getting the bunker up now as defense. Has some Hellions. Not going to be so great against Roaches. Really needs to do something else to prepare for this. Possibly going to try and go for the aggressive play, but the roaches are already starting to be on their way, and there are 3 queens Two of them positioned already. Might be able to get a queen, but not going to be able to do any real damage here. And here we go. No, they're just going to hold on to the watchtower for now. DeathRoW is getting the starport going. Certainly going to help if they can get some drops down. Stim has begun. Nothing on the production tab for MarTi. No more roaches on the way. An awful lot of money in the bank. Oh, actually putting down a Nidus. No, I wondered why they were saving up their money, and that is why this is going to be incredibly fun if they pull this off. Going for the Nidus. Has overlords on either side of the base, which will be able to set this up. There's not really anything to stop them. There's not a lot of vision. There is a marine patrolling here, but there is nothing at the natural. Still holding on to that watchtower here to check that nothing is moving out, but nothing is going to be moving out if it all goes into that Nidus. There is a lot riding on this. DeathRoW is getting the wall off, is getting missile turrets at one of the base, just one. A lot of production as well, getting the upgrades. DeathRoW probably thinking is in a fantastic position, but all these roaches are about to head into the Nidus, and the Overlord is trying to get in position. And DeathRoW trying to take a third as well, going for a macro game, and that is not what MarTi is doing. MarTi is wanting to do some aggressive play here, but nice marine placement with these patrols here. Does spot this the second it goes down. Does he react fast enough to do anything about it is the question. That marine that overlord actually goes down, so not going to be able to get a Nidus over there, and the Nidus gets taken out before it can unload anything, just by 2 marines. That is all it took. Wonderful placement by those patrolling marines there. And it looks like MarTi is going to go and attack this third. That Viking again being annoying. Should be able to get another overlord kill, and MarTi is supply blocked. DeathRoW should be reacting to this. Can see it. This third is under a lot of attack. Quite a few mules here could go down. A couple workers as well. That's a sizable amount of roaches against quite a few Hellions and a sieged up tank. There is going to be a lot of damage on both sides, but those roaches get a really nice surround. There's just not really enough of them against that amount of marauders and the tank. The tank has gone down now though, heading into the bunker, which has 2 marauders in it. Not going to be able to break through, but has completely shut down this third though. Possibly could get another Nidus into the main, as I don't think those marines are patrolling the edge anymore. Most of the roaches have fallen. There should be more on the way, but it's going to be a slow attack. This Viking's getting another overlord kill. It's up to 3 now. This Nidus is still here. There is creep on the third base. That command center cannot land. Could get another Nidus into the main, but honestly MarTi does not really have the units for it right now. Certainly if DeathRoW does not protect this area of his base though, it could be disastrous later in the game. MarTi also going for the third. DeathRoW isn't able to put his back down yet. The creep is going to slowly start receding, but it will take a while. This has been delayed hugely, and the Zerg does always want to be a base up. So DeathRoW actually not in that bad a position considering how many roaches died in that attack, but he did lose almost everything as well. The Viking now has found the overlords over on the other side on 4 kills, about to be up to 5 or 6. This is such a huge nuisance to MarTi. One of them goes down, the other one is actually fleeing into DeathRoW's base. Not something you see very often, getting a full scout with this overlord here. Oh, but it does head into the missile turret. That's going to be another Overlord death. So much money wasted on Overlords here for MarTi. But he is going for Burrow. Again, the burrowed roaches, and there are a hell of a lot of them. Burrow is not done yet, but this is such a small handful of units for DeathRoW here. They will just melt away. A lot of upgrades coming up for DeathRoW, but MarTi has got so much more of an army. This is going to be devastating if he goes in for an attack. He could take the third down again easily. Tank on the high ground now. That one needs to be repaired. It looks like he's getting a bit worried that MarTi is going to go for the third, but he's not. He's going to burrow straight into the natural, and does DeathRoW even notice? The supply depots are down. He hasn't noticed that these roaches are going on through. They're going to pop up straight onto the natural. They have noticed now because of this missile turret. Oh, and now the roaches are all trapped behind the army. They do have Burrow to try and help, but they did not pop up onto the SCVs, and they didn't get anything done, and they've all gone down. That actually worked out amazingly well for DeathRoW. Trapped MarTi's roaches inside his own base. Really, if he hadn't had that missile turret there, that could have been absolutely disastrous for DeathRoW, but it did manage to see them, and the army was not too far away. That went incredibly well for DeathRoW. He still has a very large army here. Baneling Nest coming up for MarTi. This is a good idea considering he's against Bio, but there is a huge amount of Marauders for DeathRoW. A very large count. More than we are used to seeing. This tank's still on incredibly low health. Looking like there's going to be a very big push from DeathRoW. I think he's going to do a double drop on either side. There are no Overlords on this side of the map to spot it on either side of the map. Those Lings may have spotted one of those medevacs, but the other two, just MarTi has no idea, and he's got nothing to stop it. This is going to be a huge attack. Unloading before the third there, and these headed straight into the main, into the macro hatchery as well. Should be able to get 2 queens here, and the third is under attack now. Might be able to get that hatchery down. MarTi's army is pulled back into the main, and DeathRoW won't be able to get anything further done there, but did get 2 queens, and this third, the hatchery, does go down. Doesn't manage to get any workers, but a huge pick off there considering he did not lose any of that army. That was a great move for DeathRoW. MarTi does have a very big army now, and it looks like he's going to take advantage of that and head across the map. But DeathRoW is just going to head straight back into the main. And what is MarTi going to do? Is he going to pull back, or is he just going to go for it? Because a base trade against a Terran is never a good idea. There's a few roaches here, but not nearly enough. The macro hatch is going to go down, and there's a huge army back home for DeathRoW. There's a lot of tanks, but none of them are sieged. But there's so many Marauders. Incredibly Marauder heavy, and GG from MarTi.